Hello and welcome. Today we are covering Suicide Squad, the newest in the DC cinematic universe, third in the films in this series, the catch-up to Marvel's movies. They are trying to play catch-up.
Okay. The movie is about a group of criminals that are brought together by Amanda Waller to take down certain threats that the military can't do. They're brought together in the wake of Superman's death. I don't know. Do you wanna?
Yeah. Now the benefit of this being because they are criminals, whether they live or die, it really doesn't matter to the U.S. government. So they blackmail them by putting bombs in their necks, and it's just like, go take down this big threat. Now we're not going to get into the big threat, although I'm pretty sure people can guess. But whatever.
Yeah.
Now this movie for me, the advertising pumped it up. Like the advertising for these DC movies has been amazing. Like I got this before Batman v Superman came out. I was quite disappointed by this movie, and honestly, like I was disappointed, but leaving Suicide Squad as well. Like I thought it was a misstep in many different ways, which I'll get into momentarily. But what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it, but again, it's not a fantastic movie. The criticism it's getting, it doesn't deserve. It, like on the Rotten Tomatoes website, it's at like 20-something%. It does not deserve that. It's better than that.
I would give it about 40.
The cast is fantastic, and they're just so well suited for those roles.
Yeah, that's one big thing that these movies are getting right. The casting is great. I know a lot of people, even some friends of mine now, like really don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I really like him.
Oh, I do too. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, some people are just like, no, fuck Ben Affleck. I think it's more Ben Affleck hate than his. But yeah, that's one thing they've got consistently good. Like, and it's same here. Like, the casting director is really doing their job.
And like the visuals are stunning again.
Sometimes.
Special effects could do a little work on certain scenes. The costumes are fantastic. They're memorable. They did a great job with the Joker, I think. He just stands out. You could actually see this guy existing in real life as being this massive crime boss.
The only thing is, when I first heard heard the Joker and Batman were going to be in it, when I saw the trailers, I really thought that that was a misstep. And honestly, they were not in it that much in this film. And I've heard people complain about that. I think it's a good thing. Because this is a Suicide Squad movie. Like, I can understand them saying, like, well, Joker and Batman are far more marketable because everyone's heard of them. And throwing them in there for that sake. But they didn't need to. Like, if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, who the hell heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy outside of comic book fans before that movie came out? They didn't need Iron Man to make a guest appearance. They didn't need Captain America. Like, they were able to put out this team, and they were likable enough that they got their own fan base. This, I was like, why Joker? Why Batman? Just let the Suicide Squad have their own movie.
I do personally like the way they used Batman. He's only in it for maybe like 2 minutes, if that. It's just so sparingly. And to me, it worked. And for the Joker, I kind of feel like you do kind of need him to explain Harley Quinn's backstory. And I do think any scenes where they have like flashbacks for certain characters to give them backstory, I thought they were fantastic. It made you kind of feel for the characters a little bit.
Like, every comic book character has some bit of a tragic backstory, has some sort of...
you rarely get that for the villains, though.
True, but the villains are the main focus on this.
Oh, yeah.
But what makes for... Like, show their backstory. Show what tragic event led them to where they are. But don't keep showing it over and over and over and hammering it home into the audience. Like, I got so sick of seeing friggin' Deadshot's daughter. I was like, okay, I get it. He's got a daughter. Move on! Like, and it's not like she died or anything. It's just she exists and he can't see her as often as he likes to. He still does get to see her. He showed him shopping with her at the start.
I think the reason they used the daughter was to to show he's trying to be maybe a better man for his daughter, so like a role model for her to look up to. Yeah, but they do use flashbacks quite often, and it does happen quite late into the movie, and you should keep that to the start, you know, okay, establish these characters, we got their story.
Yeah, we get it.
Now move on to what the mission is. So yeah, the story it can be a bit of a mess, but I get that from all the rumours of the problems that happened during the making of this movie, which is like, it's a massive problem with a lot of the Warner Brothers DC movies. They need to stop worrying about their competition and give people time to create the story, and then not be bringing in loads of editors to make different cuts of these movies. If you want to go dark, you do that. There's fantastic dark comic book stories, and you could get an amazing movie. I think they're improving, I'll say that.
They are improving. Like I said, this was the best of the DC movies so far. I actually do kind of prefer the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman over this, but like you said, there was a lot of rushing behind the scenes, but at the end of the day, I don't want to base my opinion on this movie about what happened behind the scenes, more so what was the final product, what did they show us. And for me, the final product, like, it was a mess. It, like, the first half, it was setting up the characters, but it was like, okay, anytime you try to, sometimes in cinema, they can use a really memorable, really recognizable song to great effect to emphasize that a scene is awesome. But, like, every second scene in the first half of this movie had, like, a really recognizable mainstream song.
Yeah.
And, like, all the songs you heard in the trailers, including several others, are in the first half.
There's Queen, there's Eminem, there's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, like, well, that was the first half. The second half was like a video game, where they're just kind of going from point A to point B. They're fighting a bunch of nameless, like, henchmen, and by the end of the whole thing, they fight a boss, which is incredibly underwhelming. The Diablo character has the most tragic of the backstories.
Yeah.
And for most of the film, he just kind of stands around in the background. But by the end, this is a small spoiler, but, like, by the end, he's kind of got this mentality of, like, these are my family, you're, like, I'm not going to lose, like, my family. It's like, where did that come out of? You didn't earn that. He's been a background character for most of this film. You didn't earn this whole, like, these are my family line.
Yeah. I don't know, any other criticisms?
Yeah, why the hell was Captain Boomerang there? He didn't do anything.
I liked him. He added a bit of comic relief. There is some comedy in this. It's not the greatest, but I'd still say it's somewhat humorous.
There's a lot of jokes that fell flat.
Yeah, there was.
Like, the one that I noticed, which I could imagine a lot of people really noticed on a second watching, because near the start they did a profile of everyone. Like, pause and then, like, a list of all the things that they're known for. Honestly, like, I didn't get to read a lot of them for a lot of them.
Because it was quick.
It was quick. You really need to kind of, like, pause it or be a speed reader or whatever. But for Rick Flag, Colonel Rick Flag, their what do you call handler?
Golf handle.
No, like, that the handler is someone who watches the prisoners.
Yeah, he kind of led the group and made sure they did what they had to do.
Yeah, like, at the bottom of his, like, highly decorated soldier, blah, 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 blah. And at the bottom it said, golfs with the +3 handicap or something like that. Yeah. It's just like, you're trying to be funny. It really felt like that, really kind of trying too hard to be funny, so much so that I'm in no way surprised that at the premiere of this, the director rocks up like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's just like, "Fuck Marvel!"
Again, I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was a bad thing. It made me go, what? But I did read it. I quite liked the way they had all these different lists for the characters. It seemed almost like something you'd see in a comic book. Yeah. It's a alright movie. I think if you're a fan of the things, you might enjoy it. There's cool little references, like there's a scene, and this is a bit of a spoiler, where you see Harley Quinn in that classic outfit, and I just loved seeing that because I love her outfits. She's such an iconic character, and it's cool to see her on screen. There are some bits in the trailers that are not in this movie. Just know that going into it, and don't expect to see the Joker in it that much. I don't know.
Let's see, there's a mid-credit scene.
Yes.
And this felt completely unnecessary since we already have the Justice League trailer.
Okay. But yeah, make sure you stick around because I work in a cinema and a lot of people just leave.
Yeah. It's
the
really
same for Marvel movies.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel movies have been coming out since 2008. You'd think people would know by now.
Yeah.
Now, the only big criticism I'd have with any of the costumes was Harley Quinn's shorts were not short enough. They should have been way shorter.
She had nothing on there.
I'm not being serious.
But yeah.
Killer Croc, like, was only brought in for one scene, really, near the end.
Like when he's like, I'm beautiful?
No, when he's swimming.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's one scene where they need someone to swim. It's like, okay, that's the justification for Killer Croc being in the rest of this movie.
I do like Katana. I think she has an awesome backstory, and if they did, like, a solo movie for her, I'd be down to see that.
But she can write the hell out. Like, they set up all these characters, and they load them up into a chopper, and she just kind of jumps in there. It's like, oh, by the way, this is Katana. If you step out of line, she'll kill you.
There's a lot of where characters will say, oh, this is so-and-so, and this is what they do. There's a lot of that in the movie. But,
There's only, like, one scene which had any character development, and that was when they stopped to get a drink. And why did Katana go along with them? The whole time she was fully behind Rick Flag, and then they're like, we're going for a drink, and
that's
she's like,
he lied.
Whatever, I was going to go with them.
Oh, he lied. But anyways,
yeah, sorry.
That could be a spoiler.
Overall, like, I found this quite a mess. Like, I can understand it's behind the scenes stuff. Like, probably if I watched it again, knowing that, you know, whatever, knowing that, like, whatever, it's got its problems, I could enjoy it more. But for the first time watching it, I was like, this could have been great. This could have been so much more. And I think that's what annoyed me the most, because it had so much potential. Mainly because of the cast, which was really good. The characterization of these characters was really good. But the story, like, mainly the villain, like, the main threat of the main threat in this movie was a huge threat. Like, it was threatening an entire city.
Powerful.
But, like, it never felt like that. Like, people were, like, so many people were dying, essentially.
Yeah.
And, you know, it never, like, they didn't really, there wasn't anything there to really kind of bring home, like, okay, this is a big thing that's happening here. Like, it really felt early 2000s action movie, the threat anyways. Like, a faceless villain who doesn't really talk much. Actually, one thing I will say about the villain, they did have a really cool effect for the movement of them, where it's kind of like double image, whatever, and it's kind of like, very kind of mirage-y. I like that.
Again, like, I enjoyed the movie, but yeah, it's definitely not the best. If they came out with, like, an ultimate cut like they did with Batman vs Superman,
they probably will.
I'd definitely be interested to check it out, especially if it gives me more Joker, which I hear there is a lot of Joker cut out.
According to Jared Leto, a lot of his stuff was cut out.
If they came out with a second movie, yeah, I'd see it. I'd say it'd be much better than this one, and if the director came back, because he obviously helps the actors out a lot getting into those characters, and he did a great job. But yeah, that's the review.
Yeah, if you're really curious, go check it out, but, like, don't expect anything great. Like, it's hard for me to recommend this, just because it feels like such a misstep, because I'm so disappointed in what it could have been.
I do think it will have fans.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say...
Well, Batman v Superman, even the theatrical cut had its hardcore minority fan base that just said, anyone who disagrees, fuck them. Hell, people tried to get Rotten Tomatoes taken down before the movie even came out because it gave it a bad review, and they hadn't seen it.
It's just a website. It's an alright movie.
Like,
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on this.
Yeah.
Thanks
for watching.
Please like and subscribe, but we'll see you next week.